Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Survivor Now podcast. We are back with some more AU interviews. My name is Ollie, and I am joined with the mayoress of Ponderosa this season from Brains vs. Brawn 2. It's the lovely Laura. Laura, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm so great. How are you? I'm honored to be here.
Honestly, we are so honoured to have you. I was so looking forward. For the viewers that don't know, we have been texting back and forth, going we need to plan this. We need to plan this. So we have been raring to go. First things first. How are you doing? How's life been like since it all wrapped up and you all finished? You finished the season.
It's been so great. I've been exhausted. I'm kind of low-key kind of happy it's over because it was just so intense, just waiting for each episode to air and waiting for, what storyline's going to get shown, what am I going to look like in this episode. And it was just so overwhelmingly amazing. So I am kind of happy that it's over and that I can rest and I can kind of go back and watch the whole season as a whole, which I did, which was really, really cool. So yes, I'm happy it's over, but I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you. And you just said it there, and it made me think it must feel so weird watching something back that you've been a part of, but you also know that they're not going to show everything. So you're wondering what's going to be shown. That must be fascinating. I actually can't imagine what that's like.
Yeah. Going into the first episode, I had no idea if I was going to be shown. There's so many massive characters on the Brain speech. So I had no idea if I was even really... Right? Who would have thought?
Right? Who would have thought?
So I didn't know if I was even going to get shown. I didn't know if I was going to get a confessional. So I'm very, very happy with how it all happened. But did you know, I didn't even know if the coven was going to get shown.
Really?
We didn't know. And no, because after the alley vote out, we just never spoke about it ever again. It just never came up. So I understand why I did because we had such a hand in each other's vote outs. But even, as we were coming home, we were like, it might not. It might not. So I was very happy that it was.
That's so interesting. Well, let's get straight to the coven then, because I've got the photos. Tell us about this dynamic, because I remember watching the first episodes and seeing I am a full-blown feminist. If I see an all-female alliance, I am there yes, I am here for it. I don't care what occurs. I mean, I've asked Zara, I've asked Logan, but I want to hear your take on it as well. How did the coven form? How did you feel at first? How did it all come about?
Yeah. So landing on the beach and telling everyone there was a witch, I was pretty overwhelmed. I didn't really know if they would take it the right way. If it would be misunderstood. So when Karen came to me and said that she likes witchy poo, I was like, oh, that's nice, thank you. And Zara was really into it as well. Logan had done a tarot reading or an aura reading. And yeah, Karen kind of brought it together, and I'm so proud that, the coven has become what it is. But it kind of started off as a method of protection. The girls, we saw Candy go home and we were like, there seemed to be no rhyme or reason as to why, except for the fact that she was the smallest physical girl. And even the Brawns couldn't answer why she went home. I don't really know if they knew why she went home. So we just really wanted to implement the coven as a method of protection to make sure a woman didn't go home just because she was a woman. That was really, really important to us. We also love the Black Widow Brigade, and we were like, if there's something that we can do to make an alliance at all similar to the Black Widow Brigade, we're going to try.
Love that. Okay, I need to ask this question now because you've just brought up an iconic alliance. Your Survivor knowledge, what is it? How big of a fan are you?
I'm a very big fan. I have seen all of the American seasons. In saying that, I haven't watched a lot of New Era seasons. So I've seen all the beginning ones. And then I started when we got to 40. I didn't watch 40, but I've seen 45, just a random kind of jump in. And then I didn't watch 47 because it was right when we came home. And I was like, no more Survivor. But I am watching 48. So I know a lot about American Survivor. And then when it comes to Australian Survivor, I've watched all of those seasons tons of times. But yes, I would say I was one of the bigger fans on the island. Miles couldn't keep his mouth shut about how much of a fan he was. He loved to be surrounded by other fans. So it was really nice to kind of have those conversations about how much we love Survivor. But yes, I was one of the bigger fans on the island.
I could get that. I could gauge it because there was sometimes it was when you were having those strategic conversations, I could kind of tell. I was like, she's dialed in. I know that she has the Survivor knowledge. Like, and that's what I was like later on in the season, I could really tell. And I was like, okay, I've got this now. I can fully understand you.
Yeah.
I need to talk about another alliance that you were in.
Yes.
And that was the Victoria Bitters. Because the coven was dysfunctional.
Yeah.
But I feel like the VBs were just as dysfunctional. Obviously, there was Max in there as well, but I know that you were really close with Rich and obviously your girl Logan, who I love as well. So how did this form, and who would you say you were closer to, the VBs or the coven?
So the VBs kind of started with us all three figuring out that we're from Victoria. And that was like an instant bond. When you kind of land on the island, you're just trying to find really quick bonds with people. So age and location tend to be something that you can bond over. Rich lives like 5 minutes down the road from me. He's a director. I'm an actor. My job is not a witch. I'm an actor. And so we bonded really quickly over that kind of connection. When Rich announces the VBs at the tribal council, in the first tribal council, and we like kind of put up our hand, that wasn't a total shock to me that he would do that, because us three were very clearly like working together. I even think like Zara and Karen knew about like the VB name, like everybody knew about it. So that wasn't a total shock. But in terms of priority, the coven was definitely my priority. I kind of more used Rich as a leak of information from the boys, because he bonded really well with Max and Kaylin on like a laddie kind of basis, and even Kent. So he was a really good leak from the boys' information. Like when Indy spoils that information and tells Rich and Max, he comes straight to me and Logan first before we are down on the beach and tells us instantly. And I was like, this is not in your best interest to be talking to me like this and telling me the truth like this, but okay. So I found that he was just a really good information source to the boys before I got my claws into the boys to really like get those connections too. But the coven was definitely my like main priority.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that warms my heart, because I'm like, yes, females. I need to talk about, well, because obviously this season I feel like really was the season of duos. Like you said, you're watching Survivor 48. I feel like they keep saying like that was really the season of duos. I'm like, we see two duos. Like your season, it was duo central. And your duo was Logan. So give me all the tea. I spoke to Logan obviously earlier on in the week. You can go check out that interview as well. It was a lot of fun. But what drew you to Logan? What got you like this? Because you two were inseparable, and it was really such a fun dynamic.
Yeah, I really think it was just an energy pull. I have said this to her, and I've said this many times. I think that I'm really grateful for Survivor for bringing us together, but I do think the universe would have found a way to bring us together if we didn't meet on Survivor. She's my best friend. We have matching tattoos. She's like, still my best friend now. And I just think it was just an energy pull and an understanding that we're both very kind of emotional, strong, independent women. And that can kind of really be targeted a lot in Survivor. So we just found each other kind of out of necessity. I could like hear her, and I know that sounds really weird, but when you're starving and you're away from home and I would be upset, she would be the only person that could calm me down, and vice versa. So I think that kind of worked in like a disservice, because everybody could see how strong we were and how we could really talk to each other and calm each other down. Like the girls all day are trying to convince me to vote Rich out, and I say no, and then she comes and talks to me. I'm like, okay, now I'll do it. So like she can like talk to me and I could talk to her. And we were just inseparable, which was so lovely to have on the island, but then also showed everyone that we were unbreakable and wouldn't work apart from each other, which I think worked to our detriment. But she's my best friend in the whole wide world, and she's honestly like, we're the same person. And that was really bizarre to find on the island. But yeah, I think that if we hadn't met out there, somehow we would still be best friends.
Somehow would work, yeah. I mean, you said that like you are the same person, and I think even just we've only been interviewing for 10 minutes, but like I can already sense how alike you two are, and it's like that's great. I can be the third wheel. I'm more than happy to be the third wheel.
Come to dinner with us.
Absolutely. Well, I knew you lot were going to dinner, and I was there like, I'll catch a flight. It might take me like 2 days, but I'll get there.
That's fine. Max was late. Karen was late. She was at work. She's a doctor, so she was like, "Come to dinner."
Would have got there before him. You spoke about just then about the coven and kind of the not the dysfunction, but obviously where Logan was the one that could really get you to have those decisions. We really did see a power struggle throughout kind of the start of the coven. Like we really saw it here. I clocked it straight away because I could see that you and Logan had your thing and Zara and Karen had their perception of where they wanted to go. Was that power kind of struggle like more intense than what we saw, or was it kind of more blown up? What would you say watching it?
No, I think it was pretty accurate. I think that it was a pretty intense power struggle between all four of us. All four of us had ways we wanted to move forward in places where we were willing to bend and where we weren't willing to bend. I wasn't too willing to bend on Rich just because everybody else had their lifeline. Like Zara had AJ and Karen had Caitlin, and I didn't quite understand why my lifelines, although he's the loudest, why he had to go home first. Like other lifeline, my lifeline didn't throw out Logan's name. My lifeline didn't gather the troops to get out Logan. Yes, my lifeline did a bonfire and burnt through our firewood and can be a bit loud. Yes, but my lifeline's not like gathering the troops. So I was trying to like, really tell them how much I wanted to work with them now. I'm willing to let go of Rich because I want to work with you, but know that it's to my detriment. But no, I think that it was shown pretty accurately. I was waiting for that power struggle to come in because I was upset. I was really upset that for some reason I had to take the hit first because I thought that Kent and Indy were pretty united votes. It really passed me by how much Rich was annoying the other two. So when it came to, we need Rich out right now, I was like, where did this come from? I really I didn't think it was that big of a deal. So I also really pushed to see if it was that big of a deal, to see if they understood I was taking the hit. But no, it was a pretty big power struggle, enough for them to go and find their own alliance.
Yeah. And do you know what? You've actually made me realize, because you made me rethink now everything I was thinking beforehand, because you made a great point in the sense of your person wasn't pushing for Logan. Your person wasn't like trying to make. My whole brain has just gone like this. I need to rewatch the season. I need to go rewatch everything. I mean, I will probably rewatch the season anyway because that's what I do.
It's a good season.
Yeah, it is. Honest. Okay. We need to talk about this now because I really love the season. I know people were so hit and miss on the season, but I have to say, I think this was a really solid season. As a Survivor player, non-biased from your own thing, how would you rate your season?
I think it was a pretty good season in terms of what to do and what to not do. I think there were some really great players to try and emulate, and then others that you definitely shouldn't. I think it had, I mean, they weren't lying when they said it's the most chaotic season ever. So I understand from a viewer's point of view how it's like, what's happening now and why are they doing this? But I think if we go through the lens of, now we know the winner, you're looking through the lens of Miles the whole time, then it can provide like at the beginning it was really rocky for him and he didn't know where he stood, and then like tribe swap happened and the Brawns weren't kind of like strategizing with us, and then the Brawns that were, we didn't know, and so and then when merge happens everyone's really solid, and he wanted to break that up, so then it looks like a big bang. Like if you go from his perspective, it makes total sense why they showed what they showed. And I think from a viewer, if you were to sit back and watch the whole thing, I think that it would be a great season. I understand like the 3 episodes at a time made like sometimes not a lot of sense because Like in some weeks there were like Kent going home and Nash going home, and then the next weeks it was like, oh, this isn't, not too much is happening. There's no Kent sort of to go now. But if you'd had a Kent and Nash the whole time, it probably would be too much. So I think if you watch the whole thing, it would be a really, really great season. Like, and it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think once people give it a rewatch, or once people have kind of chilled, maybe watch Survivor 48 and then you realize how great this one is. Anyone that watches that 48, you didn't hear me say that.
I'm watching it and I'm like, well, this is why I don't watch New Era. But
this can be the off-camera conversation we have, because I have opinions.
No, I actually really like the people, like the casting.
Yes.
I actually think that this was a really, really great bunch of people. Like everybody is you can root for everybody in their own kind of way, which I really like. Yeah.
We'll have this will be second deep dive. So before I get on to swap, I do want to talk about some of the tribals that occurred, because, as you said, there was a lot of personality on Brains. There was a lot of them, and I want to quickly touch on Indy and Kent going home, because that was where we saw kind of the power struggles within the coven, and ultimately those two were the ones that went. What led to Indy quickly, and what led to Kent as well quickly going? Because it was always like there was a target, and then it went on to them.
Yeah. So with Indy, she really wasn't the target, like, at all. It was truly Miles. We were all fine with it being Miles. Like, the boys didn't really have a choice. The girls were happy it was a boy. We were all super happy that it was a boy. And yeah, you see Karen and Ali have a conversation with Indy at night about it being a boy, and that they were keen on Rich to be next after Miles. And then, in the next day, like, I really do kid you not, like 10 minutes before we have to leave for tribal, Indy tells Rich that she thinks he's the target.
Yeah.
And he comes to me and goes, am I the target? And I was like, no, not for this one anyway, but no. And she kind of just spoiled her own spot, and she'd been in a position where, you know, she had connections, but probably not the best ones. And she was super close with Miles. Like, they really didn't show her relationship with Miles. So when she finds out that Miles is the main vote, she, you know, doesn't love it. But in doing that, in kind of spoiling a spot to save Miles, gets herself voted out. And so Rich and I Rich tells me, I go flip all the girls, he goes flips all the boys, and then 30 seconds before tribal, it's suddenly Indy. So then when we get to tribal itself, that's where she's finding out that it's her. So it is kind of an explosive tribal, because she hasn't really had time to grasp that it's her. And kind of same thing with Kent. I mean, when Kent said he burnt the hat at the tribal, it was weird for us too. It was bizarre. It was weird. We're like, why did you say something? Why did you do it in the first place? To Max of all people. It was a strange thing. And then from then on, we kind of just started noticing kind of behaviors that we were like, could he do it again? Is he going to do it to someone else? Does he have an idol? Like, all of these things started playing in our heads. So the Kent one was a little bit more of a slow burn into I want to, you know, and for Max was really like, I want to get rid of the man. And the coven was like, we'll do that for you, Max. We'll absolutely give that to you. No worries at all. And I was happy to put it on to Kent to like get it off Rich. So the Kent one's a little bit more of a slow burn, but he also had like genuinely no idea until we're at tribal and Max reads his vote, and in his vote he goes really loudly, and we all go, Max, if he had an idol, he would know to play it now. And Kent just looks at us and goes, it's me, isn't it? And we're like, no, like, we didn't know he had an idol. But that Kent one I think was also a surprise to him, but I think he also knew he didn't have the connection that everybody else had. He just didn't bond. I mean, to be fair, I actually wanted to work with Kent. I thought that he could be like quite a good connection to have. But then as like when he started, he was pretty lovely. Like, he didn't really like, and he is a lovely man. But as we went on, he was just clearly not having the connections. I just didn't have enough social to do anything about it. But that was a funny one. Poor Kent. he really had no
Yeah.
idea.
Bless him. I mean, he did come in all guns blazing, which
Yeah.
good for him. Like,
Yeah.
appreciate it as a viewer, but I could also understand why people would go like that.
Yes, I think he wanted to be the Russell Hands, but
Mm.
that only ever works for Russell Hands. Like that literally doesn't work for anyone else. People have tried.
Yeah.
And so then when he came in, saw the people he was with, he should have switched his gameplay to, somebody else that he wanted to be. But no, we don't appreciate Russell in this
Nah.
chat.
No, we don't. We don't appreciate it on this podcast. No. Right. Before we get to the swap tribe, there is one other very big pre-merge kind of pre-swap thing I need to discuss. And that was when the bomb dropped, shall we say? And I'm trying to find. I've lost the thing.
I don't know what you can bring up. I don't know what you're going to talk about, and so now
there we are.
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah,
you know what was coming. Obviously, this is when. Why'd you
look at my face.
Right.
I'm not even looking at him.
You're literally like, I don't want to. This is why. Okay, that face alone, Laura. I'm going to tell you now. The amount of photos I've got. That is because this is why me and you are kindred spirits, because that is exactly what I would do. I'd sit there and be like, I'm not looking at you. Go away. But obviously,
I'm immediately like thinking about numbers.
So obviously Rich goes over, you have the little this isn't an ordinary tribal. Rich heads over and he has this bomb. We're just gonna call it the bomb because that's what it was. And he gives it to Max, and you have this tribal.
Yeah.
What was going through your head when Max just openly said this? Because to me, I would have made sure, regardless, I kept my mouth shut on it. I would have been like, no, I would have been only the coven would have known, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So what was going through your head firstly before tribal?
So when we were at the challenge and Rich hands it over, he's not subtle about it. Like at the challenge, sorry, he's like, bomb squad, like at the challenge. So then we see him hand something to Max.
Yeah.
And when we go back to camp, we're like, okay, Max, what is that? So he couldn't really lie about it because it was so obvious that he had it. Because that challenge, you don't really cross over like some challenges you do. So Rich literally like walks over and like hands it to him because it was so close at the end of who was going to win. And if he didn't, if the brains had won, Rich would have kept it and done it himself.
Yeah.
So when we lost, like it was a really quick kind of give it to Max. So we all saw it. So as soon as we get back, we point to it and say, "What's that?" So he reads it out and says he's going to take out himself and AJ.
Yeah.
That's my face because I want AJ gone. I want this is the perfect opportunity to get rid of AJ. So I'm immediately like, no, don't take out AJ. I suggest to him to take out Zara and Karen because they were the two people that like really wanted to keep AJ. And I thought if I could get Max to do that, then I could go back to camp after AJ's gone and go, sorry, but I suggested that Max protect you. So what's interesting about this is also the way Max is thinking about it. He's not thinking about it as who is going to be left to vote, rather, who am I protecting? He's aware of the people that he's taking out, not that they lose their vote, but that they can't be voted for. So that speaks to Max's lovely quality. That's that like good, he's actually more conscious of those two people not copping a vote and not going home, rather than the people that are left there who are still able to vote. So that, speaks to a little bit of it. But then all afternoon, he's changing the combinations of people. Never in a million years is it Karen and I. But he was like, I want to protect like you. And I was like, okay, then so take Logan and I out. Like take us both out. If you want to protect one, protect us both. Both of you. And then Logan, of course, is like, no, don't do that. We need numbers. So because we know this minority is formed, we don't know that Graduates has a name, but we understand that something's happening. That
something's awry.
There was never in a million years Kaylin was in it. Like that was not in our brain that Kaylin could have been in it, because there was also like a pseudo alliance between Kaylin, Max, Logan, and myself. Because Kaylin was so close with Rich. And we thought, now that Rich is gone, it only makes sense for Kaylin to come to Max. But we never expected him to be in this alliance. So that was a real blind spot. But my plan going in is I would like to vote for AJ. However, I know that Max wants Ali. out and the boys want Ali out. And I'm close with Miles, but if I had voted in that tribal, I truly don't know what I would have done. Like I truly, Miles and I were very close, but I think I was probably going to have to vote for him.
Yeah.
But never in, like, no combination of people was ever Karen and I. That was a misstep on his behalf because he wanted Karen and I to talk back at camp. Talk to Karen all the time. But what actually was helpful was when we did go back to camp, Karen told me about the graduates. Didn't tell me it had a name, but told me who was in it and told me how close they were. And so I got information. So then it's so funny when like Karen's told me Ali's going home. Like there's no ifs, ands or buts unless Kaylin doesn't do it. Or Zara's definitely going to vote for Ali. So when they come back and Zara's like, I cooked it. I'm like, I know you're lying. Like I'm looking at her face being like, okay, this is your lying face. Like I knew she was lying. So that was really like, you don't need to go that hard, girl. I know. It's fine. And Logan didn't believe it for a second either, but we were well and truly at the bottom from then on. But it was just the most chaotic afternoon. Like I cannot explain. Max was like running around in his Speedos, just like, I'm going to pull this person and this person. I'm going to pull this person and this person. But everybody was saying, no, don't do that and telling him what to do. So I do think then that allowed for him to get a bit like, no, I'm going to do this my way, which is caused what happened because everybody was telling him what to do that afternoon and he didn't want to listen to anybody.
So plain and simply, he effed up. Like he effed up.
He fucked up. Yeah. Look at my face again. Like,
I mean, it's also Logan has bleeped. Like her mouth is blurred because she's bleeped.
Yeah, she was so upset, and rightfully so, because he'd removed Karen and I with a mentality of protection rather than who can't vote. So then Logan also felt a bit burnt. Like you didn't want to protect me. How easily that could have flipped onto Logan. Like we weren't sure Ali was that vote. We knew it was one of us. So it so easily could have been Logan. So that's what she was upset about a lot as well, that if Ali was just going to go home, then just remove her and me, like us, so that we're protected. And yeah, that was a big thing. But that's me telling him like, we're on the bottom so hard.
Yeah.
It's one of us next. And had he got his idol by that point?
No, well, from what the edit showed, he got the idol after swap, which is where you then landed. What a great segue from me there. Well done. But yeah, obviously at that point he hadn't got the idol, but then you guys swapped into. This is you. You stayed in Brains, didn't you?
Yes, I stayed on Brains Beach the whole time. I've never seen this photo before. Look at PD's biceps.
PD. I mean, I will say Matthew got all of the photos this season, and some of his photos were like chef's kiss.
I've never seen this before.
I will after the show again. I will show you some amazing photos.
Yes.
But yeah, obviously you stayed on Brawn and Brains, and yourself, Zara, Max, and Miles were in the minority. That's where you were truly in the minority. So what was your plan going into that swap tribe, knowing that you were in a minority and you had the Brains that seemed to be having a lovely time, having a lovely happy family moment?
It was like the worst group of people I could get swapped with. Miles, who's been on the bottom the entire time and like loves new people, so doesn't shut up around new people. Max, who's declared war on Miles. So like he stood in camp and had the machete and was like, I'm declaring war on the jungle rat. And then when this, like the first conversation that we ever have, says, I'm no longer at war with Miles, already telling the Brawns that we're fractured. And then Zara, whom I've fought with the most out of the coven, and also she knows I threw out her name in the last tribal council, because if it wasn't AJ, then I'd want it to be Zara. So she knew that. And it was just like the worst bunch of people for me to get swapped with. It truly, like the dynamics between the three of them were really bad. Max is so social and so charming, so I knew he had that kind of over me a little bit. It was really terrifying, to be honest. And then the Brawns are like a happy family. They had two really easy tribals. And then like Jesse, Ben, Kate and Morgan had been working together the entire time. So an alliance that's not willing to break. It was so difficult. I felt so exposed. But I just worked so hard on Kate and Morgan. I just became like the third to their little duo, even though they're both so cool. Like Kate's an international DJ and Morgan is an Olympic runner. And I'm like, I'm a witch. Like trying to like get into their cool group, which I kind of didn't really. But they're lovely girls. So we just really bonded as much. I bonded as much as I could. But that's a time where I got really close with Zara as well. Like we got really, really, really close because Max was getting close with the Brawns. Miles was off being a jungle rat. So Zara and I got really close. It was exposing. It was really hard. I do think the most exposed that I felt was when Max went home. I really realized how close that could have been to it being me. The Brawns gave us nothing, absolutely nothing. They said you need to vote for Miles or else, and so we just kind of had to. There's so much I could have done if I had known about Max's idol. Or if I had known at the time how willing PD was to flip. Like I had no idea about that because I wasn't really close with PD. But that afternoon I was on one. I was like, Miles, sit down, shut up, Max, come with me. Like I was on one trying to get us to yes, no, when Max went home, I was like, I wanted him to pass me that idol, but I didn't know if he had one. I thought maybe he did. And that whole afternoon, I'm just trying to scare him into essentially playing it or sticking with us, right? I'm like, they are going to go for you. Miles is never going to play that idol for you. But he had the hubris of an idol, so he just wasn't really listening. And to be fair, the Brawns were giving him so much more time of day, like Jessie and Ben, than Zara and Miles were. They'd never worked together. So I understood why he flipped, and then it made sense why I needed to flip too. Yeah.
I mean, that makes a whole lot of sense. And the best thing I've heard when doing the interviews and listening to the interview, you mentioned it, Miles has mentioned it, Zara has mentioned it. I really am so intrigued the fact that PD has been so willing to flip. Obviously, this one of the things we never saw on the island, which I wish we did. So thank you, not just you, but everyone for filling that in. Quickly though, obviously, with Max going, because you said it really exposed you, I do want to give you props on the resilience, because what we really did see was you not give up at all. Like you were never down and out, even if things were going bad. And you mentioned Kate and Morgan earlier, and you did try to get an alliance going. Please remind me of the name, because we have to remember. My brain's forgotten it.
Girls Gone Wild.
Girls Gone Wild. There we go. I remembered. Yes, the Girls Gone Wild. The alliance that everyone wanted, and then it just never was meant to be. How much were you wanting that to work, and how did it all come about from your kind of aspect?
I had no choice for it to work. Like it was really bizarre. So you can see before like kind of this conversation, Zara and I are talking, and then they start walking towards us, and we're like, oh my God, are they coming? Oh my God, they're walking. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Oh my God, play it cool, play it cool, play it cool. Because they really didn't talk about strategy at all. And like we would talk around camp, but Zara and I were very clearly having a strat chat here, and they walk into it knowing that it's a strat chat. And we're like, oh my God, like everyone be cool. Resume your positions. And they came in and they were like, we want to work with you. We have an alliance. It's called Girls Gone Wild. We want to get rid of Jessie. And to be fair, my brain was like, this makes no sense. Jessie was like the closest Brawn to them. This is the first alliance that the girls have with a name. But like, this is my 6th alliance with a name. Like they'd come with this name. They were so sure. And it just really seemed out of, like I had no choice to believe it. I had no choice to go with the group, but it seemed a bit peculiar to me. So I really wanted Girls Gone Wild to work. Like I really, really did. But I kind of had no choice if it did or it didn't. That was them, and Zara and I just had to kind of go with it because we were just so exposed.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, like I said, no women's alliance. I'd have been all for it. But your time on Brawn Beach, Swap Tribe, like you said, you were just exposed. It was resilience. You were just trying to make something work. And there was a point where you were like, oh, my luck might be changing. And then the tribal actually occurred. So obviously you were able to find an advantage.
Sorry, the photo. I didn't expect that photo. Oh, look at my face
Make sure
again.
to get the good photos. But obviously you found, and I want to confirm, was it a knowledge is power? Like, obviously, because
I have it. Do you want me to read it?
Oh
I
my
have
God,
it right
yes,
there.
please.
It's home to
Yes, and an absolute like exclusive, because this advantage was such a mystery to everyone, because obviously it was, you never really saw it like in a confessional, like when they're like, I've got this. But it
Yes.
was like shown, and it was never read out loud. And I'm
Read it.
myself, Matthew, and Valeria were all like, "What is going on with this? We want to know it."
So I found this 30 seconds before we go to tribal, literally no time. So when I pull Zara, it's just because Zara's right there. If I'd had time, I probably would have told Kate and Morgan as well. Actually, I should have told Kate and Morgan over Zara, but Zara's just the first person that's there. So this made no sense to me either. So I was like, I just need help me. And we were so close. So I just didn't have time to think about how Zara could have interpreted it. But we'll talk about the photo, but I'll read it.
Okay. So excited.
In this game, nothing makes your vote more powerful than information. Tonight, your tribe will not vote to send someone home. You will vote to send someone to the other tribe. How you use this knowledge could greatly impact your game. Use it wisely. That's all.
See, that's all, but it helps clarify so much, because I think everyone was, how it was edited, I think a lot of viewers got confused with, well, if you have the advantage, it means you get that power. And I was like, but then they're having the conversation. I was like, and it's technically Laura's advantage, but Zara's, and I was like, I could see the confusion, and I don't think it was anything to do with like you lot. I think it was a bit of miscommunication editing wise. So I'm glad that's been.
Yeah, I think they edited it like that because they didn't anticipate me to tell anyone.
Yeah.
I think they were just like, I found it, and it should have been just a clarification that everything will be okay. But they didn't anticipate me to tell anyone. So I was then confused on, will it be like a Rich halfway through the tribal, you say something's changed, or is your torch actually going to get snuffed and then walk to the other side? Because that I'm not willing to do. Like, I don't want my torch to get snuffed and then, like, that's scary. That's now we're entering like, So yeah, I told Zara, because what I should have done in hindsight was go with Girls Gone Wild and test Kate and Morgan and then send Jessie into the Wolves' Den. That's what I should have done. But I just wanted to get off a sinking ship. I saw that, knew my name was already the split, and was like, if I have an opportunity here to leave when my name's already going to come out of that urn, that seems like a waste of information, right? Like, if I know that there's just one or two more votes I need to flip in order to go to the other side, I'm absolutely going to do it. So what they don't show as well is Zara whispers in my ear, if you don't tell everyone you have it, I'm going to tell everyone you found it days ago, and make it sound like I'm lying to everyone. And so I was like, oh, don't do that. Oh, don't do that. Because I don't want to like everyone to think that I'm lying to them. So I needed to control the narrative and then tell people. I shouldn't have told Zara, but it was harsh. I mean, I respected it, but I understood why she was doing it. And then I knew as soon as Zara was in the running, Miles was definitely going to vote for her. I should have just tested Girls Gone Wild, but my instincts just kick in. And so does Zara. Zara's like instincts to get off this island absolutely kick in as well. So we both just had the same thought process, and she was just better at arguing why she needed to go over. She's a lawyer. So I totally respected it.
Yeah. But I mean, that tribal, it was just spicy, because obviously it was this back and forth and everyone saw what happened. And obviously things did not work out in your favor. And even though it didn't work for you in the game wise, what it did provide was arguably my favorite moment in the season. Yes. Because I don't know whether you've seen the reel, if you've seen the particular thing. This is where I fell in love, because this was literally, this would be me to a T.
Yeah.
Please. I spoke to Logan about this, but obviously you are the one that is effing furious. So
yes, Look how red she is because she's just competed against Kate. So those challenges, I mean, so poor PD gets injured. And then the doctors have to assess him and we can't go ahead, and they're trying to figure out, was it a malfunction in the game, like in the ring itself? Was it Kaylin? So there was some time where we could stand on the mat, and you can see as soon as Kaylin bursts into tears, I'm the person that goes to him. He's in my arms.
Yeah.
The whole group's around him, but he's like shaking, holding me. And I'm like, it's okay. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. I was with Kaylin for probably like 10, 15 minutes, like just trying to calm him down before they were like, okay, guys, go back to your sides. And then he went back over, and then we just had more time. So I was like, Logan, come here. And she was confused because she was like, did you have an opportunity to come here last night? And I was like, yes. And she stole it. Like, I was so angry. I just needed to tell her in a short amount of words, because we didn't have enough time to just stand there, what had happened. As you can see, short amount of words gets the story across. We didn't have like 10 minutes to stand there. So like nothing's happening. The challenge isn't happening. PD's, been away for like 40 minutes by this point. So I needed to like quickly tell her what was happening. But I didn't know until watching the show that Zara told them that we found it together. I didn't know that until I watched the episode, and I called her and I was like, what? And she was like, you get why I did that. And I was like, I totally get why you did that. But I didn't know that she told everyone that they'd found it together. And Logan was just so confused. So like, you had an opportunity to come over here. Why'd you give it to Zara? And I was like, no. I'm furious.
No, let's not talk about that. But I mean, obviously, in the end, I don't have the photo. I will get the photo for you afterwards. But obviously, like you get your revenge on Zara in the challenge, which was obviously a satisfying feeling. There is one other moment I want to talk about pre-merge, because even though it wasn't on technically your tribe, it affected the entire game. Hostages.
The hostages.
Because this was the moment I remember watching it going, AJ, what are you doing? And I think it was yours and Zara's reactions. I was like, living.
I was like, what about us?
Yeah. What about us? Where's Pink? But how, I think that was off the top of my head. But how was that feeling? Because obviously during this particular challenge, you saw the OG Brawns very obviously throwing. Like, we're not even going to pretend like it was like good throwing. There was no good throwing happening on this season.
No.
What was that feeling? Because if I was you, I would probably said like gone with Miles and been like, yep. So
yeah. I was so confused. I was really kind of shocked because AJ around camp is just like the loveliest person. He's so warm. He's just such a genuinely kind person. And out of nowhere, he says he has hostages. And I was like,
what?
Who are you? Like, who are you? And what have you done with AJ? It felt really out of place. It was like really kind of bizarre. And I understood in that moment that he was just trying to he was going to do something to protect Zara and Miles and try and get rid of Max and I. But that kind of made me, when he initially goes for Logan and when he's throws out Logan's name, I go to him and I say, why? And he tells me the reason that he always told me was he wanted to get rid of Logan to work with me. And he was like, I want to be your number one and I want to work with you. And I didn't think that I could work with you while Logan's in the game. And I was always waiting for confirmation of that being true. I never really believed him. So when he did that, I was like, oh, no, I really don't believe you. Now I know that you've lied to me many times. And it was just like a real shift in AJ's kind of game. And it kind of made no sense as well. And it just exposed us even further because it showed how much the Brawns were willing to protect the other guys. That's in that challenge. I find out from Noonan that AJ's been saying I've been playing a brilliant game and there's a massive target on my back. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like, this is not going to work out for me. And then when Miles does find the idol, I think I said to AJ, good luck, because it's close to being Zara now. And it was bizarre. It was really weird. And then, to be honest, it continued a real juxtaposition of AJ's character of like, sometimes he would say these really outlandish things, and then sometimes he would say some really kind, caring, warm things and go with your heart. And like, it was just like this really big juxtaposition. So if he had made it to final two, I would have asked about that. Not about the hostages specifically, but about, because he kind of did the hostages thing throughout the whole game, didn't he? Although he didn't say it, he was using other people against other people, like Kate and Morgan against other people. So although he didn't say it, that was kind of a hostage game plan that he had. And so if he got to the final two, my question would have been about that juxtaposition between, where did that come from and who are you? Because I don't think it can be both.
That's absolutely, I can't say anything.
Yeah, it was weird. It was strange. I was like, who are you trying to protect right now? I was looking at Logan. She was like rolling her head back. I was like, does she know about this? I mean, I'm glad now watching it that they did know about it, that like all of the like Brawn people, that they knew about it. But even the way he said it as well, he didn't even come out like George, and he wasn't even like, I've got hostages. He was like, these are my hostages. Like really kind of light, like, I have hostages and you guys got to throw. Instead of like a threat, it was more like a, here they are, I'll walk them off a plane. It was really bizarre. It was like, commit to the George of it or don't.
Sorry, what I also love just then is you literally went, sorry, I got to put I've not done, I need to put my thing down. Sorry, that was what I loved it.
This is my drink bottle. It's got unicorns and rainbows on it. And an old colleague bought it for me. She was 77. She bought it for me. And she said, Laura, this reminds me of your personality. And I went, thank you.
That's so cute. I feel like that's someone from my work would buy me as well. But obviously, you had all of the shenanigans of pre-merge and pre-swap, and you managed to make it to merge. So, first of all, what was that feeling like? Because obviously, as a fan, like, making merge is an accomplishment. Like, that's number one on the bucket list, apart from not going home first. And obviously, you were able to reunite with the Coven. But what was your game plan going into merge? What did you kind of want to solidify or do, really?
So when I do make merge, I'm hysterical. Like, I can already see like the banners have changed. So he's asking people questions on the mat and I'm there like like I'm crying so loud that he asks me a question and he was like, how are you going, Laura? And I was like, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so happy to be here. Like, crying. So I was so happy to make it to merge. It was just the best thing. So when I come into merge, when Zara goes to the other tribe, I come back to camp with Kate and Morgan, and I say thank you guys for essentially showing your hand and telling the boys that you're with me over them. Thank you for that. I want you to know now, I've got you. It's us. And at that point, I actually think my relationships to Kate and Morgan were closer than they were to Logan's. Like, I was like truly like, I've got you. I wanted to take them to the end. So coming into merge, I was like, Kate and Morgan are totally with me. I wanted to move forward with Kate, Morgan, Logan, and like maybe Miles, like in there somewhere. The Coven, as I said, wasn't really truly mentioned, although like the dynamics were where they were. I wanted to continue working with Zara. I really did. I understood that she was going to be harsh about her moves, but I thought, okay, if you do those to other people too, then maybe, I can help. I wanted to continue working with her. She wasn't completely burnt. Like, I wasn't burnt, with the move. But she wasn't my main priority. Kate, Morgan, Miles, and Logan were the people that I wanted to move forward with.
Okay. I can see that for you. So obviously, first vote really goes to plan. Jessie goes. It's great.
Well, Jessie and Paulie vote for Zara because I tell them to. Because I'm like, I turn the whole Brains 2.0 tribe onto Zara after she's left to make sure they don't like her, so that they'll work with me over her, which works. Jessie and Paulie vote for Zara, thinking Zara's going to go home.
Well done. I am such a person of little subtle things that are really good. So that fills me because I love a little subtle thing. But then obviously PD's vote happens. And the reactions, I don't have the photo, but the reactions from everyone, obviously with Miles doing what he was doing, what was that like? Because that obviously was really the turning point for you and Logan, because obviously at that point it was really the buddy system. So what was that feeling like? And did you kind of from there realize like, oh, this is going downhill. This isn't going to where we want it to go?
So the PD vote was my suggestion. I say it to Miles. I think that we should start getting rid of PD. And you see that, like, that's on camera, me going, I think we can use Paulie, and PD is not working with us. And I knew he wasn't. I knew he was working with Zara, and I wanted to take away Zara's lifeline. But then when I go to Logan and Karen, they're really close with Kristen, like really, really close. And they were just staunchly against the PD vote. And I just thought, I've stuck my neck out too far for people in the past, i.e. Rich. I'm not going to stick my neck out for this. I don't think I have the numbers, firstly, to do this PD vote. But then secondly, it doesn't seem like I don't want to hurt my allies for PD. Like, I don't care that much. We'll just get rid of Paulie. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Yeah. When Miles stands up and plays the thing, I understand what he's doing. I'm like, okay, you really want PD out. And it was because PD was so cushy. He was with everyone. Kristen was with everyone. Like AJ, Karen and Logan were all sure that Kristen was with them. And then PD's just in that. And I kind of wanted to, he was placed so well. Another reason why I think everyone wanted PD is after his injury, he was never going to win individual immunity. So he was always a shot of, you could take PD whenever, because he'll never be safe. So he was really kind of like sitting well in that position of like longevity. And Miles, understood that and saw that. So that wasn't super shocking to me. The fallout, however, was hilarious because I'd said to Logan, I kind of want to move forward with like AJ, Miles, Kate and Morgan as like a 6. And she took that super seriously. However, AJ and Miles didn't want to work with Logan. So then Logan's kind of going at AJ going, we're working together. And he's like, no, we're not. And that's that whole conversation. But what they don't show is that like 30 seconds later, she goes up to them and goes, oh, sorry, guys, love you. And like, it's so funny what the storyline that they're showing. But we were all just like, why'd you waste it? Like, why'd you do that? Yeah. But it was really good for Miles's game. We just couldn't see it at the time. Yeah. He could really see the longevity that PD had. So he could really read the board well in that moment, better than all of us. But it was so funny being like, where did that come from? Why did you do that? Just so many questions. Yeah. And he kind of didn't really have answers for all of them. But he knew it was good for him in that moment, which was, a good read on Miles's behalf, and just kind of added to the storyline of like, oh, Miles will do what Miles will do. So you can let him get away with it, which I think really helped him in the end. How he could last so long was like, oh, Miles will do it. Oh, Miles will just do something crazy. That it really, really worked for him. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was great. Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously it worked out well for Miles, obviously. In the long run for you, you were like, you're probably like, actually.
Not for me. No, not for me. I think if I had gone ahead with the PD move and worked with AJ and Miles, I wouldn't have been a split on the next vote. But because I had kind of shown them of where I want to move forward, and I really thought that had put them at the bottom. I thought everyone was truly upset at them. So I thought that had pushed me further up the totem pole and Miles further down. Yeah. That was a misread on my behalf. But I do think if I had gone ahead with the PD move with AJ and Miles, I wouldn't have been the split on the next vote. I had shown my cards of who I wanted to move forward with, which was a solid Kristen, Karen, Logan, Zara group. Yeah. And a very wishy-washy, we don't know where Kate and Morgan sit, AJ and Miles. I was like, that's a wishy-washy group. So I'm going to move forward with the solid ones. Because Kaylin was also close with Kristen, like really, really close with Kristen. So I thought that's a solid group to move forward with. But that then put me on the split in the next vote.
Yeah, it did. Okay, so before we get on to the split and your eventual week, there is one question of merge, and I'm really hoping I've got my facts right here, because if not, it's going to be really embarrassing. This was you, wasn't it?
I didn't know we'd talk about this. Yes, it was me.
I remember when I was putting this together, I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Laura that accidentally did this. Laura, why would you do this to poor Paulie?
Oh my God. So we have to walk over these rocks to get out of camp, and they're slippery. And I slip down and like clearly throw my torch, and everyone turns around and goes, And I'm like, guys, I'm fine. I just slipped. Like, I thought they were like gasping at me. And I turn around and Paulie's face is just like covered in blood. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, that was me. It was a total mistake. I didn't really know who was behind me. Like, I didn't clock who was behind me, but those torches are so heavy. Like, so heavy. Oh my God. That was one of the worst moments. I hated that so much. I also didn't know Paulie. Like, Paulie and I had spent the least amount of time together out of everybody on the merge beach. So I was so heartbroken that I'd done that to poor, beautiful Paulie's face. Like, beautiful, beautiful Paulie. He still has a little scar. So sorry. Yeah, that was the worst moment, like the worst gut-dropping feeling in the whole world that I'd done that to him. And then I had to vote for him that night because I was on the split. I had to vote. I was like, when I voted for him, I was like, sorry, twice. Like, I had to vote for him.
I forgot about that part as well. That's just rubbing salt in the wound.
It really was. He wasn't upset at me, but God, I felt so off.
I can understand why. But okay, now go into. I had to put it in there because it came to my brain.
Before, so that's so fair.
See, I'm just like I looked at every single interview and I was like, what hasn't been included? Paulie.
When that episode came out, Paulie called me that day and it's like, how you feeling? I was like, I'm so scared. How are you feeling? He was like, I'm traumatized. He and I were like talking about it, but God, I felt awful.
Bless you. It's fine. It's all water under the bridge now. So obviously we're coming to your vote off, but before we talk about that, I want to talk about something that I really feel like was missed by a lot of people, but I as the season progressed, I really clocked it, and it's because of how it was edited. Obviously, you said you're a lovely witch, you're a good white witch, and I think people were like, "How is this going to integrate into the show?" And what I really noticed during the show is when they wanted to. Well, let me first say one of your best qualities, I think, is your intuition. From watching the show, you had such a good gut instinct, and I think the way they showed it was they would pan to you, they'd pan to something. They'd pan back to you. They'd pan to something else. And I was like, I see what you're doing, editors. It's really good. So praise you on your intuition and your gut feeling, because your reads were spot on for 95% of the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, during your vote off, we did see this. We saw them talking, them talking, them talking, and you could feel something was up. And obviously it was this conversation here with Miles, which this is where I was like, oh, I could feel it coming, because this is where you could feel something was going, but you wanted to kind of try and understand. At this moment, did you fully believe Miles? What was going on this pre-tribal? Because you like you said, you sensed something was going on.
Yes. Firstly, thank you for saying that. I very much appreciate that. I didn't know how my witchiness was going to get shown. I really thought that I would be like the kooky, crazy one, like with the silly music behind me. And that was all those fears were quelled in the first episode when I had like a whole chunk of just talking about reads on people and they were all correct. So that really made me feel safe for the rest of the season. So thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. This chat, I say to Miles, if you're going to do something, tell me. If you're going to do something, tell me, because I knew something was up, but I didn't know that it was on Logan. I really didn't, but I knew something was up. I was like, if you just do anything in the future, please tell me, because I can work with you or I can figure this out with you. I didn't fully believe him, but I had kind of nothing else to go off of. I really didn't know that it was going to be on Logan and I. That was a really true blindside. It was off, but not enough for me to, because by that point, I think Miles is filled with a little bit of like hubris, a little bit of like that PD plan really worked for me. I'm feeling really solid and comfy. This is like one of the only times that he's at the top. And I think I misread that confidence for confidence in the vote rather than anything that's going to happen to me. So yeah, I couldn't tell in that moment that something was going to happen on Logan and I really, really couldn't.
Yeah.
But then, my relationship with Miles, I really wish it was getting shown, like it got shown a little bit more, because we were very close. He was a real cornerstone of my game.
Yeah.
We were really, really, really close. And I didn't expect him to put me on a split. I really didn't. That was a treat on my behalf. So when I'm having this conversation, I still don't think it would have anything to do with me.
Okay, fair. And I will say, I do think I could clock how close you and Miles were. I think it's one of those, we both know this, when you're a fan of the show and you can really analyze things, I think fans that can look at the edit, past the edit, can clock that.
Yeah.
But obviously Tribal happens and there's the little rumblings. You've got Karen going to Logan and it's clear something's a rumble. And unfortunately, you go. What was that feeling like? And how were you feeling during that tribal council? Because I will give you praise. That was sassy because you obviously it was like, what was going on? And then it was just like, nope, no hugs. And everyone else was like, no, I wouldn't do that. And I was like, I would. I would.
I'll see you over there. Yeah, no, that was a true blindside. Like, I genuinely had no idea. I really thought that I'd done enough to not be on the split. Like, as soon as my name comes out the first time, I was like, huh? I thought that Karen had told Logan to play the idol to get rid of AJ, because all I'd been hearing is how annoyed Karen was at AJ. So yeah, no, it was the most shocking thing. And then like my dream's been taken away from me, and then everyone wants to stand up and hug me. Absolutely not. I was like, and I was really upset at Kate and Morgan, really upset at Kate and Morgan. But they like cut out 10 minutes of me being like, who voted for me? Did you vote for me? Who voted for me? Enough for Logan to be like, they all did. And I was like, okay. Like, it was truly a shock. But in saying that, getting voted out was one of the best nights of my life. Like, being the mayor of Jury Villa, I manifested I either wanted to win or be the first member of the jury. Yeah. I was ecstatic that I was the first member of the jury. Like, they're a group of, like, the first members of the jury, like, you can always remember them from every season. Like, you know who they are. Yeah. And I was just so happy to be the first member of the jury. I truly was. It was just a dream come true.
That is the silver lining of it. It's like, okay, yes, I know that my dreams are shattered, but I do have this iconic little moment, which has been stapled in Survivor history as the mayor or mayoress of Ponderosa.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not your story done, because you are on the jury and you knew I was coming to this, because for anyone that doesn't know, this was the one thing I kept saying to Laura. The looks. First of all, the first look, that's where I was like, yeah, that's my girl, because it looks good. It looks good is all I can say. What was your favourite look? I have to ask that on the jury.
My favourite look was probably like the little yellow set that I wore for the next tribal, for the Bounty Baron. Yeah. But so imagine, I don't remember smiling this much. Like, I really don't. I thought I was like stone. I thought that I wasn't smiling at all. So the fact that you've got a smile there is hilarious, because I didn't crack one. Yeah, I wanted to do like the biggest kind of reveal first, of course. I was just so happy to be there. It was just like the best thing in the whole world. But then he goes, oh, something's a little bit different tonight. And I go, more time by myself. I've had 4 days by myself, and now I'm having more time.
Yes.
Not happy. But I think my favorite look was the yellow set. I actually had to wear that twice. I wore that at AJ's tribal council as well. Yeah, because I had another dress, but it had gotten too big for me because of the weight that I'd lost. But interestingly, I was the only person on the jury who had enough outfits. Like, I brought the right amount of outfits, but everybody else, it was like only brought like 3 or 4. And so like Karen had to borrow Logan's. Oh my God, yes! That's that same little Bounty Baron outfit. Oh my God, wait, you have that from
it's because of the slides. Because we downloaded all of our slides,
like,
yeah.
Oh my God, you have a frame of me? That's so cute.
I've just done this. No, literally, we have all the slides.
Love.
How I get the photos.
Love. what was I going to say? Yeah, I was the only person who had the right amount of outfits, which I thought was really interesting that people tended, like Logan only needed 5 and she only brought 5. Kate needed 3 and she brought 4. Like Zara only needed 2 and she only brought 3. Like it was really interesting that
That's so interesting.
They only brought like the right amount. But something that I did want to tell you was there was a shirt that you loved of Paulie's and it was like colorful.
Yes.
And everyone thought it was from like a high-end brand, right? That is my pajama shirt, and I bought it from Amazon, and I wore it into Paulie's like room, and I was like, I don't like this. Like, it's a pajama shirt, but I don't really like it. And he was like, I love it. Can I put it on? I was like, it's yours. Take it. He has it. It was my pajama shirt from Amazon, and everyone was like, it's from a high-end brand. No, it wasn't. It was $10. And he wore it to tribal council. My mum bought me like these these floral pajamas to wear when I was in Samoa, and that was it.
You need to send me this link. I'm getting that £10 Amazon. Like that's fine. That's amazing. I love the fact that I just love the fact that you went, I know Ollie's gonna love this, so I have to make sure I love that.
Because there was a whole section of like, where's the shirt from? And he was like wearing a feather earring with it.
Yeah.
And like, where's it from? And I think Valeria was like, it's like this really high-end brand. And I was like, that's an Amazon pajama set.
Yeah. To be fair, if there's one thing that we did this season is I think now, like we praise the jury for their looks, because if anyone needs, and I'm gonna get the photo up now anyway. Future Survivor fans, if you ever need to know how to dress for the jury, here it is. Like, undoubtedly the best dressed jury. Like,
also the hottest jury. Like, they're so hot. The group of people. Like, Kate, like, so hot. That dress that Karen's wearing, that yellow dress, is really short. Like, really, really, really short. So she had to keep crossing her legs that whole night because we were like really scared that the camera could like see up. But I also wore some short skirts and I had to like keep my legs crossed. But Tribal's really hot, like really, really, really hot. There's all that fire. So my legs like sweating and then they're like slipping apart. But absolutely incredible. We were told, Logan and I were told to stop like tanning by the pool throughout the day because we were starting to look too red, which you can kind of see like my makeup looks a bit off. Another thing that I haven't said before. So my makeup, I'm a makeup girly. Like I did everybody's makeup on the jury.
Oh,
everybody. Like when Zara came out, she was like, "Who's the hair and makeup artist?" I was like, "It's me." I did Zara's makeup. I did Logan's makeup. I did Kristen's makeup. And I had left all of my foundations, like the different colors, at home. So I had to mix like Karen's and Logan's foundations together to make my foundation shade. But like that first look that you see is like there's no foundation. It's like bronzer, and I look
that one.
That's me working with like 2 things.
Still, like I can't. Honestly, like I'm someone that comes from, obviously, like I'm an ex-dancer. Like I know all about like the makeup and stuff, so I know that there are tricks of the trade. So well done for that, because like
so good.
every look was a stun. Obviously, though, we do come to Final Tribal Council, and before I get to it, I said this to Logan, and I want to say this to every single juror. Well done, because online, and I don't know whether you saw these tweets of me, because I was going in on people on Twitter, sorry, but everyone expected this jury to be really bitter, really one-sided, just harsh and stuff. How respectful you lot were, and just how logical into it. Like, it's like I say this, it was one of the best juries because you guys were able to just lay everything out so meticulously and just so logically that it's like, what have you? Because the day that final dropped, all of the critics were silent. So well done for that one.
I think something that was really important to me was I wanted everyone to talk about how they felt about each other, because that's only to the winner's detriment. Like if we go in with any biases or any things that we're holding against either of the people there, it's only going to affect them in a negative way. So that was really important to me that everyone got out their grievances so that we could talk to each other, which is what you see, that they were like, we're talking to each other about, what we're upset about. And sometimes this is the first time that like we're really telling each other how we feel in 47 days, because in the game of Survivor, you don't always get a chance to be honest with people, like with the people around you. So we're really talking about stuff for the first time. So the bitter jury stuff, I think, is, I mean, I don't know if they say that every season. I do think that it was kind of hammed up, if I'm being completely honest, because it's a jury majority of women. I do think that they wouldn't have said that if it wasn't a jury of women, and then also extremely strong women. But like when I go home and then Paulie and Karen and Logan, that's like 4 massive characters. Yeah. So I think that speaks to people thinking that we would be bitter because they've seen that we are very strong with our emotions in the game, the 4 of us. But I think that speaks to how the viewers want the game to be and then the first 4 members of the jury were playing it their own way. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think that there would have been people saying that much if it wasn't a really strong group of emotionally led people.
I completely agree. And because I saw the jury and I was getting excited. Like I was on the podcast literally being like, I'd rather be on the jury because like that's where I want to be. But just how logical you all are and just how just mature and just everything. And like it was so nice for me to see as well because of what was going on. I was like, yes, prove them wrong. Like that's what I wanted.
We knew we wouldn't be better. We knew when it ended, like when it came out, it wouldn't be better. So we were like, we were okay because we understood that like nothing better came across in the final tribal council.
Oh God, no. Yeah. So obviously final tribal was happening. I'll just bring it back up because ultimately you are a part of deciding the winner. My question is, I've got 2 questions. Number 1, did you always go in more so leaning towards Miles? And what ultimately set you to vote for Miles to win?
So I had played my whole game with Miles.
Yeah.
I didn't really play that much with Kaylin even when we were on the same beach. So I knew Miles would be an easier convince for me. I went in probably like 70-30 just because the things that Miles played the game with, I value too. And what I wanted from Kaylin was like a big, you've been fooled. I wanted to hear something that I've never heard before. But I didn't play that much of my game with him. So I wasn't too sure on what he was going to speak to. That's why I was kind of a little bit more sure on Miles, because I knew the things that he would speak to I really valued. And I knew he would speak about my experience and our experience together. But I think I probably was one of the more sure ones leading up to that. But like the AJ got voted out not 24 hours ago. So that was always like AJ was part of our thoughts as well in terms of like who was going to get there. So when we walk in, no one is sure because now we're all shell shocked and we're waiting for Kaylin to say the big thing. So it really was a really fluid, like this really could go either way. I personally was like quite close with Miles. So it made sense that I was thinking along the same lines as Miles.
Yeah.
What ended up my vote for Miles was because he spoke really well to his defaults. He spoke really well to where he faltered and what he could have done differently. And he just looked so enthusiastic about the game that he played. And when he did have control, what he did with it, and when he was on the bottom, how he used it. And in every point, he was always doing something that would benefit him, even if he didn't have all of the control, which I thought was a really great way to speak to like playing on the bottom. You could just sit there, like lie down and roll over and be like, I don't get a choice. But in every aspect, he was like, I was always fighting for people to like put this target in front of me, put that target in front of me. He was always doing the right thing at the right time. And when he did get the luck in the idols, he was using them correctly. And he wasn't, although I think at times it did fill him up with hubris a little bit, it didn't fill him up so much that he got blind to what would be best for him in the future, which I think was a really great thing, because we were all going to ask about the idols. We were all going to say, there's so many times that you go away scot-free or whatever with when he won immunity at the right time. But he was like, when I got that luck, what I did with it was the important part, not the fact that I got it in the first place, which I think was really, he just spoke to his game really, really well and eloquently. And as a jury, we felt seen and understood because he was, I know that I can be bombastic. I know that I can be arrogant, but I know I came in here swinging, and yes, I missed sometimes, and that just really filled my heart.
Oh, that's really nice to hear. Like that, and again, I loved it. I need to ask you, just as we're wrapping things up here, as the interview's coming to its collective close.
No.
I know, I'm sorry. It's okay. We'll stay. We'll this is where we'll chat for like 3 hours afterwards. But I want to know, what was your best moment in the game? Like, what moment sticks out for you?
Oh, that's really nice. What moment sticks out for me? I think, weirdly, my final challenge, the last gasp, that was when I originally applied for Titans versus Rebels. I said in my audition video that that was my dream to try that challenge. So it was really cool that I got to do that challenge, and even cooler that that was my final challenge. I think the relationships that I made have stuck with me the most.
Yeah.
Like Logan and Karen, and like I'm so close with absolutely everybody. I never got to play with Noonan, but she has quickly become one of my closest friends in the whole wide world. So I think the relationships that I have and have made have stuck with me the most. They've like changed who I am. And yeah, Survivor's something that you can't pull out of your brain, can't pull out of your body. So it's really nice to go through life now with the people that have had that experience as well. I think also, what else stuck with me? I mean, this is going to sound really weird because I wasn't there for the alley vote, but getting removed from the alley vote, that was the first time I was like, oh, I'm playing Survivor. Like, it's really strange. Like, a tribal council is happening and I'm not there. And like, that stuck out to me a lot, that when Karen and I got back, and it was just us, that was when I had time to let everything sink in, because there was silence on the beach for once. And it was really strange. But the whole experience was just, I wouldn't change it for the world. It was just the best.
Yeah, I love that. And I do just want to plug for you, you've got your little handle there. I recommend you follow Laura on Instagram, on TikTok. Just the reels that you had post game were just the best. Like, I loved them. Like, if viewers, if you need to understand what the dynamics are with like everyone now, like they're good. They're vibing. They're great. Like,
yeah, we're great.
It's great.
Karen came to my family Easter.
Yes.
And that's where we filmed some TikToks as well. And we've got more coming. We've got like sounds saved that we're going to do. So trust you wait. We've got many more.
Excited.
But yeah, Karen came to my family Easter and she was like, do they hate me? Like, do they all hate me? No, they don't hate you. She was like, I'm really scared. And it was like the first thing that they said was like, you got Laura out. And she was like, well, thanks, guys. But yeah, no, we're all extremely close. I love making the TikToks. It's so much fun. I'm not a very like online person, so I have to get my sister sometimes to help me. But it's so much fun.
I mean, you can tell, because I mean it's the one where it's the Ring doorbell. Like, for me, I loved it. It made me feel really warm, because like, even though I'm not a part of the season, it makes you remember like these are real people and these people love each other, and it's just it's such a family, and I loved that.
Thank you.
That's one more. I do have one more question though, and it's a hypothetical question.
Yeah.
You sat there chilling, your phone's ringing, you're like, what's going on here? You pick it up. Hello, who's this? It's the producers. They've said to you, Laura, we want you back again. We've got this returnee season and we know you are perfect for it. Are you coming to join us?
Absolutely. I'm actually already on a plane. Like, I've already packed. The suitcase is at the door and I'm on a plane. Yeah. Straight away. I'm already kind of predicting the tribe colors, because I predicted the tribe colors for this season. I knew there would be like a tealy kind of blue color, but I always thought I would be part of that tribe, which I never was. And then I thought black as well, which was the merge tribe. Absolutely. I'm actually on the plane already. Sorry, I have to hang up, put it on airplane mode. I'm already there. Yeah.
I love that. I would love to see you come back, just especially with the witch dynamic. We saw the little sparks, we saw the potential. And I think just with a returnee season, I always say this with people anyway, but when you like, we know as Survivor fans, when you play for your second time, you see the true player. And I just think, personally, I think you would flourish. So I think you do great.
Thank you.
Laura, thank you so much for this. It's been absolute joy. Before we finish, is there anything you want to plug? Anything you've got going on? What's going on with you?
You've already said it. My Instagram, my TikTok, that's where you can find me, seeing what I'm doing now. That's all. I'm just so happy to be here. I'm so honored to be chatting to you.
Oh, thank you. But obviously, this may not be the last time, because you are more than welcome to come back on anytime you want, because we do have this happening. Reminding people, we've got Australia versus the world happening in next month at some point. So I will say this now: you are more than welcome to come join us for a podcast, whatever we need. We will grab you on here.
I would be so honored. I would love to come back and talk about it. We've seen from like the ad, they're already on that like massive slide that we were on, but it looks really small now because Dave Janae is so big. Like it looks like he goes down in 2 seconds. But no, I absolutely would love to come back. I mean, being a fan and seeing all of like, you know, internationals original seasons and like knowing the dynamics that they're going to come in with, I think it's going to be super interesting to watch how that's going to mix with the big players of Australia. So I cannot wait. I will be there.
Amazing. I can't wait. Oh, and thank you everyone that's watched. We appreciate all of you. Remember to like it, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to hopefully have some more interviews coming up. But for now, we will see you next time.